cry, yeah. There's a monster in the dark.
All real mothers, you me a celebrate. The picnic come first, man, a few years. Beat your chest and talk it straight. If a man touch you, do not procrastinate. Pick a remake, you can station on a plate. Make the coat decide your fate.
Yeah.
Them boy, they are paid.
Yeah, yeah.
Nothing else sounds as good as
WEFM, the clean, fresh sound.
WhatsApp us or call us at 457-9997. Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
Welcome back to more Activated Mornings Talk Time right here on WEFM. At this time, we will be conducting an interview with Corporal Stapleton of the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force. And this morning, we are discussing cyberbullying and the harmful impact of technology on children. Corporal Stapleton, good morning to you.
Hello, good morning, Dianna. Good morning, Roleza. How are you doing?
I'm all right. I feel like you need to have a seat with us because we sing this so often.
Yeah, it seems like yesterday I was right there.
Yeah, I think it was. How are you this morning?
I'm blessed and highly favored. Good morning to the listeners of this radio station. I am Corporal Stapleton, a member of the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force, and I'm attached to the Information Technology, Cyber and Digital Forensics Department.
Okay. All right. So we are in the Child Abuse Awareness and Prevention Month, and we are conducting a series of interviews. This morning with Corporal Stapleton. If you have any questions, if you have any comments, you will be able to call us 457-9997 with that shortly. But definition for cyberbullying, for those who may have a little confusion as to what is and what isn't.
This is where an action is used to cause harm or cause a person to feel threatened in any way by using a social media platform or using some technological device. The action itself has to be repeated. So it's not a one-off thing. It's something that is constantly repeated. It could be twice, but it's an action that is repeated that causes a person to feel harmed, threatened, or to feel some sort of depression and stuff like that.
Yeah. The repeated action is interesting to me because I didn't consider this before. What sort of actions, though, would you consider a repetition of in order for it to be considered cyberbullying? Or isn't there anything that can be considered as that if it happens one time, like it's so serious that one time is enough?
No, there's a different charge when you go into it. It has another charge under the Cybercrime Act, and I'm referring to the Cybercrime Act of St. Vincent and the Grenadines of 2016. It has a different charge for that, harassment by electronic communication. So it could be some words misrepresenting you, teasing you. It could be a photo that has been posted of you that doesn't capture in the best of light. All right. But once that action, that post is repeated, it could even be constant telephone calls to you over and over, telling you certain things. You understand? Once that action is repeated, it's considered to be cyberbullying.
Okay, the phone calls, so how would you be able to use this as evidence if it's a phone call, unless it's recorded?
Well, if it's recorded, it's beneficial to us as well. Mm-hmm. But you've been calling somebody, stating certain things, you understand, inciting certain things, causing them to do certain things. But once that action is actually repeated, under the Cybercrime Act, is classified as cyberbullying. And in most cases, what is beneficial to you, sometimes the person is smart enough to record these conversations itself. You understand? But some investigation has to be put behind whatever it is to determine whether or not the action was illegal or not.
I'm looking at a case because I never considered phone calls to be classified under cyberbullying, right?
All level of technology. Once it's classified technology, once
right.
it's it has that element in it.
Okay, but then that's my whole point as well, because unless the call is recorded, let's say Dianna is constantly calling me and calling me ugly, calling me this, saying that she's going to put this or that about my information on blast, etc. Unless that phone call is recorded, and yes, I know that you can see the call logs, but how can you prove that Dianna is indeed harassing me?
What's the level for investigations? To be honest, it's a level for investigations, and I'm not saying it's going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. Maybe somebody witnessed one of the phone calls and heard that you've been calling Dianna certain things or saying certain things to Dianna, and can give the police a statement to say that, all right, then this has been going on for a while. Okay. I've been here, I've been witnessing this. You understand? And yeah.
Okay, so I guess one of the things might be to put the person on speakerphone so that somebody else can witness. All right. Good tip. All right.
All right. Before we talk about some of the harmful impact of the technology on children, as is our topic, can you give us some of the, I don't know if you've had these cases or some of the things that children have, some cyberbullying that children have received or they've done to others?
Well, boy, we're opening a can of worms, right? Now, I have seen the normal teasing. And for anybody that, for all the listeners that people have, the listeners of this radio station, cyberbullying or anything that's classified under the Cybercrime Act refers to actions done using technology. Now, in relates to cyberbullying and the whole works done by kids, we have seen the teasing, the normal teasing. We have seen hazing done. We have seen the posting of innocent photos from classmates to classmates, taking an innocent photo of your classmate, posting them online, stating she has AIDS. She has been sleeping with somebody else. We have seen nudes from students, and even though nudes are classified as child pornography, when it's been repeated, it's classified as cyberbullying. You understand? We have seen voice notes being sent. We have seen, and while I'm describing child to child here, it has child to teacher. And you could see the dynamics of the classrooms there. We have teachers that have been making, as of recent, we have teachers that had made a mistake when they were teenagers and may have sent something to a boyfriend who has leaked it. Now coming back in the classroom where kids have been sending it in your classroom, you are the teacher. And this has been repeated. So we have seen, even though we have seen a lot of cyberbullying specifically being targeted to children, we have seen a lot of the cases where children themselves are using these platforms as tools to cause harm to other people, children and adults alike.
Has a child ever been charged though? Or if they have, would we know, or this is a family court?
The discretion lies with the DPP's office on whether they would proceed or not. So far, from my knowledge, I can't really say and bring up if what a child has been charged. For most of the cases I can remember, adults, persons over the age of 18, has been charged.
But children,
children. Because children here is classified anyone under the age of 18 years old.
Right, but children can be charged.
Children can be charged, and I'll state that the age of criminal responsibility here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines is 8 years old.
Okay. Now, in the instance of, let's say, because I'm sure you have come across cases of cyberbullying done by children towards children, or even children towards an adult, right? Well, so in the question that I previously asked, if a child has been charged as yet, for those who have not been charged, what sort of punishment have they been met with? What sort of counseling advice? What has happened so far?
You see, the police hands are mostly tied sometimes, and in a lot of these cases, we have persons not wanting to go forward with these cases. right? But from this police standpoint, all we do as a police standpoint, after a person says, all right, that we don't want to go forward with anything, we could try to intervene. We could do a little session between the both parties, bring their parents in and see if we could intervene on that end. But the police alone can't do it. If it is in the confines of a school, we have the parents come in. We as the police will go and we have a conversation there, then and there. But as for all our efforts, that has been falling flat because we've been seeing more of them happening. And now persons tend to not to use their own personal accounts. What they normally do now is create an anonymous account, and then you start to pester the same person. You pester the person. You know, so we are not seeing much into even though we have interventions and different things to try to mitigate the problem that is cyberbullying in itself. We don't see much resolve coming from it.
Okay. As you speak, I'm thinking about maybe a child needs to be charged. But
Yes.
then I can also understand here the same society saying, oh gosh, you need to forgive them. They're young, they're innocent, and that kind of thing. So I suppose, yes, the police would find themselves in a very difficult spot, because if they are going to continue, and an example has to be made that this is something that is serious.
Yes. So one major problem that I have is that parents themselves are not involved at all. And at that point in time, when the parents know that the child has committed something or isn't something, is when the police call them. And they don't know. You understand? So we don't have parents right now checking up on their children. Not spying on them, you know, but monitoring them and setting expectations, you know, and stuff like that. We don't have that parenting on social media and with regards to cyberspace. Yes, we have parents making sure that the kids get home safe, that they're in their house, they're fed, they're protected physically. But on cyberspace, they have nothing. They don't know. You understand? And you're seeing things that make your belly kind of quench. You understand? And we have been seeing, well, I don't even tell you. If things I could tell you right now that are happening, it would scare you. It would really scare you. And sometimes when we get involved is when something has gone far, ridiculously far. That is when the police gets involved. And by then, the problem has gone so far that we can't actually offer a proper redress to anything other than charging somebody, and then we see the problem occurring again, maybe with other children, and that's it. So we don't have much parents' involvement at all.
Do you have these things from primary school as well?
Yes, as low as primary school. As low as primary school. As low as primary school. And some principals will call in and ask us to come. And in some cases, persons will come and say, we have an assembly. Can you say something at assembly? But assembly is only so long. And we can't say much there. You understand? And in most cases where we are actually addressing those kids, the parents are not there. I've had one instance when I've went to a school and I've been showing the parents how to do a search of the kid's phone, because normally you will see them hiding applications on their phone. You will go to a child's phone and you're not seeing anything. You're not even seeing WhatsApp. They're hiding the application.
No picture gallery.
Right. And I was guiding them how to do a proper search on their phone. And a father and his son is fighting for the phone. The child would not give up his phone at all. You understand? And for some of them who have searched the children's phone, they're left in amazement for the things that they have been finding. You understand? And how well do you know? So I'm asking it, how well do you know your child? Take up his or her phone, go through it. With them there. Don't sneak, go through it with them there. You see a change in attitude towards that aspect itself. And a lot of us don't do that. We give them a smartphone that we don't know how to use, and they,
All right. How do you think a parent can possibly identify that, number one, that their child is being cyberbullied, and maybe that they are the bully as well?
Changing attitude. You know your child has been a sprightly kid, always jovial, you know, and You've been seeing they don't want to talk much. They're isolating themselves. Changing behavior is one of the main identifiers there. And the fact that your child doesn't have much conversation, you might not see a change in behavior per se, but then they're always taking their phone. You understand? They're always taking their phone. Look, I've seen bullies or cyberbulliers don't look like the normal bullies we know. When you picture a bully, you picture somebody with body size, somebody with some physical prowess. It's the roles are reversed here. You might see a child and you know nothing. The child looks so innocent. You understand? He's so small. You don't know. They're feeling empowered behind the phone screen. They're saying the worst things, man. So you can't really say, all right, then he normally goes online and he says atrocious things. You can't really pick that out, but you could tell when a child has been affected by it. You see them being depressed. As I said, they change their attitude. You see them being depressed. They're isolating themselves. You know, they might not be talking to you, but they may be talking to somebody else. You understand? And once you pick up on any slight thing, dropping their grades, you understand? Once you pick up on something, you need to go and intervene.
Okay. And what about a case where the parent has gone through their phone and they realize that their child is a bully? They have been sending pictures, communication to other persons. Should the parent sweep it under the rug, talk to the child and sweep it under the rug, or should they report the matter to the police? What should parents actually do as opposed to what they might do? But yeah.
As a police officer, you don't know already. But that might sound weird to the ear, but you have to address it. You must address it. As a parent, I know that I would try to contact the parent of the child that is being bullied, and I'll try to put to curb that and nip that in the bud right there. You understand? I know I have a heavy hand when it comes to my child. I'm very stern when it comes to my child. And the first thing I do not trust him right now, so I'm not going to give him a phone. You understand? Some people might say, "But how are they going to reach you?" I'm always there at school. I'm always there at school. If you need me, go to the teacher and call. The teacher called me. I'm not going to give you a phone, and you're not going to use my phone to do anything. You're not going to have a social media account. Look, you know, you don't even know. You understand? You don't even know what is actually been going on in these platforms. They has the Instagram live streams. They normally have these chats. They have a smash or pass.
I thought that was a game.
It's a game. So what they will normally do, you don't even know that your classmate has taken a photo of you, and they're uploading the photo to this chat, and it actually caused a major fight in one of the schools, and it took the whole morning. The teachers the whole morning to get control of that incident.
Okay, explain this to me because I might be a little bit out of the loop.
No,
so it's what? It's a chat.
It's a game. It's a game.
Right.
What they normally do, they have live streams on it. They join the live streams and they post your photo up, and persons would vote. Well, not vote on it, but say whatever they would smash or they will pass, and that in itself evoked some emotions there, and it spanned off into a physical altercation at school that took the teachers most of that morning to calm down the kids.
Okay.
Most of that morning, you understand, and sometimes it goes severe. We have seen incidents in St. Vincent and the Grenadines where a child has been stabbed, and part of that was the contribution of cyberbullying. You understand? So the fact that we are, as I say today, this month is Child Abuse Awareness Month. We need to be aware of these things as parents. It starts at home. If you are not aware of your child's behavior, you know he has the aptitude to go and do things and to things. Check them. You know their attitude. They're quick mouth. They're always that. You know, check their phones. You know your child more than anybody else. Check their phones. Don't just, and you'll meet parents that would swear for their kids. You meet parents that will literally swear for their kids.
And I suppose it's just to impose tough love, because in your case, you're both a parent and a police officer. And if you've recognized certain traits within your child, you take away the phone and I guess you put the child on a ban, or is it permanent?
Well, if that, because I've seen where parents, look, one parent brought in around, and I don't want I'm not exaggerating the situation right here, around 6 iPhones to my department that her child got. She took one phone from her child as to curb on a behavior and got 6 iPhones after she took that phone away. Who is she getting the phones from?
Mm-hmm.
And if you take the phones away, they have no phones, they're going to school and they're using their friend's mobile device. And you understand how that goes?
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. So you kind of need the parents involved, you need the teachers involved, you need the community involved. You need every facet of society involved in this thing. Mm-hmm. Everything has to be working in cohesively to curb what is actually going on, because it is not, I call this an epidemic that is spreading to civilians and agrarians.
Mm-hmm. And I suppose one of the things too that the children need to be aware of is that whatever goes out on the net stays on the net.
Is there? Somebody has it.
Somebody would have it in the phone. And one of the other things that I tend to say to young people as well is that, you might be going through something at this particular time, right? You might think that the in thing might be to take a new picture and send to a friend or whatever, right? But the thing of it, at some point in time, you are going to turn 22, 23, 25. You are going to want to be able to hold your head up as a citizen, as you rightfully should. But somewhere in the back, somebody just might be reminding you of something that you did as a child.
And this is also something else. This goes to what I mentioned earlier with this teacher. Something that she did when she was a teenager. Mm-hmm. She's now a teacher in charge of the classroom of kids, your kids. And they're circulating something that she sent to somebody when she was a teenager. And mind you, something explicit. So if you are if you're like me, you try to internalize that for a second. You try to internalize that for a second. And persons don't understand. As you rightfully say, what goes online stays online. Mm-hmm. Somebody has that somewhere. And at some point when you least expect it, somebody's gonna pop it. It's gonna pop up. Then mm-hmm. what?
So stop and think before you take that picture. Stop and think before you take that video. Stop and think before you do that post, because you're not going to be a child forever.
Exactly.
If you are at this time, how is the police, the Ministry of National Mobilization, and the Ministry of Education working together to tackle this particular issue of cyberbullying?
Well, right now, what we're trying to do, we have some, our efforts right now is in sensitization. I know the police has 2 mandates: detection and the prevention of crime. And I'm focusing, we're focusing our efforts on prevention, the prevention part of it. We're trying to go out there and we're trying to sensitize persons. We're trying to educate them. We're trying to tell kids that I don't want to impress certain things on you right now, but we're trying to ask you to be smart. Don't just send things to people. You understand? And don't just do things. Try to educate them. Let them put themselves in the place of the persons that they're actually bullying. And in most of my sessions, and when we go in most of my sessions, I'll pick anybody, just pick somebody randomly. And I'll say, if I post this about you, what would be your, what would be your thought? What would be going through your mind? And try to put them in that light, to be emotionally relatable to the persons that have been affected online. Trying to instill into them that even if you see something and it doesn't have anything to do with you, it is affecting somebody. So try to get them to report things, because we don't have enough of that. So that's encapsulate most of what the police and mobilization sexual offenses unit are actually doing right now in the schools and around wherever we can get it. and you've been facilitating us very well. On these platforms, anytime that we have an opportunity to share the information.
Okay. All right. So we are just about coming to the end of this morning's interview. Are there any final thoughts that you wish to leave with us?
Yes, I have a few things I want to say, a few points I want to give. We need to have vigilant parenting. Just some pointers. We need to have a habit of monitoring our kids' social media presence, their mobile devices. We're not snooping, monitoring them. We need to set clear boundaries and expectations for our kids. Have talks with them. I'm giving you this phone because of communication purposes. And if you use that, what is the consequences if you do something? Setting them, right? Have digital empathy. Teach your kids to have digital empathy, as I just stated before, to put themselves in the mindset of the persons that have been bullied. So they will be less likely to go out and bully persons. Have open communication with your kids. And in this one, we know that when you have open communication, you might learn something that is not only affecting your kids, but somebody else's. Stay up to date with technology. Don't give your child a phone that you yourself don't know how to use. And know the signs. When your child is depressed, withdrawn, has anxiety, you know that maybe something is wrong, to go and probe. Okay. And for the community in a whole, it takes a village to raise a child. So don't just turn a blind eye and in some instances exploit what you're seeing, because we have been seeing things that even leads to participating in murders. You understand? And just don't see things and let it go. Speak up. All right, and I just leave you with those tips.
All right, then. Thank you very much, Corporal Stapleton. I definitely hope that all parents are listening and that they will take heed to the messages that are being delivered to them. To enjoy the rest of your day. I don't know if we'll see you. How we're gonna see you Thursday, or maybe we're gonna see you next week again.
we just keep your seats warm for you, okay?
Thank you so much. All right. Thanks for having me.
No problem.